In this video, we're going to look at competency questions. These are a common type of question that employers use on application forms and in interviews. A competency question is when an employer asks you to demonstrate skills they are looking for using your past experience. You'll know it's a competency question when you hear them saying something like, "Tell me about a time when," "Give me an example of," "Can you think of a situation where?" So why would an employer take this approach? Well, they go on the principle that if you have been able to demonstrate this skill in the past, it's a good indicator that you'll be able to bring it into their workplace in the future. The great news is there is a clear structure and logical process that you can use for preparing for and performing in the interview. Look at the job description for the role. What competencies have they stated they are looking for? These are most likely to be the skills they will ask questions around. For example, look at this job advert. What skill is the employer asking for? You can anticipate potential questions based on these skills. You won't always get asked a question on every competency listed, but you should prepare examples that you can use for each one. You're clearly already a star if you got this far, and STAR is an acronym that should come to mind when you're preparing a competency response. The STAR technique is a structure for answering competency questions. It stands for situation, task, action and result. So how does this work? Well, basically you'll tell the employer a STAR story. First of all, give the background to your story. This is your situation. Where and when did your scenario take place? The level of detail you give here will depend on the interviewer's knowledge of your scenario. For example, a retail assistant at the university shop is quite obvious. However, if your job title was intern at an unknown organisation, you might want to give a bit more context. What was your task within this particular scenario? What were you tasked with doing? What were you trying to achieve? Now you've set the scene for the employer, the next stage of the story is to tell them how you solved this problem, and that's where the action comes in. The action section normally makes up the bulk of the story. You want to give enough detail here to demonstrate that you have the skill. Keep your answer relevant and focused. One way to do this is mention the skill in your answer. For example, if it's a question on teamwork, actually mention team in your story. Talk it through chronologically, focusing on the key points of your scenario. Finally, to demonstrate that you were successful, what happened? Show a strong, clear result. For example, you got good feedback, you raised £100. You can also add another R here, which is reflection. What did you learn, or what would you do differently in the future? Final tips for using the STAR technique. Be specific. Don't give lots of examples or make general statements. You'll run out of things to say very quickly. Pick one specific event and drill down into it. This is a rich source of evidence and will be very convincing. It's all about me. What was your experience? What impact did you have? Use the word I liberally and use the word we very sparingly. This is a common mistake when answering teamwork competencies, but the employer always wants to know what you did. Use variety. You might have had one great experience which would cover multiple competencies, but this can seem very narrow to the employer, so bring a breadth of experiences. Pick examples from study, part-time work, internships, voluntary work, even personal experiences. It will allow you to demonstrate that you are a well-rounded person.